as the season marches along. We head to an event that looks to be very exciting, curling. First time this event has been done in this comp or in MMG. As you see the sheet here, it's like curling works the way you'd expect. We're going to start with the demonstration match between the Azure Army and Pleasant Paradise. The outer ring is worth 1, then the white inner ring is 2, then the inner ring is 3, and if you land on the bun, that's 5. This rule set goes for basically any curling you've ever seen. It is self-explanatory, as 4 marbles of each team will go down. Try and find those points. Okay, if I tie it close to the bun, will win as the Azure Army look to have taken the lead here. They would win that one, if that were a real match. Now we head on to the real thing. Doorknobs and Fantastics. The Doorknobs, first member, plant them on the one, but get knocked off immediately. So they take another one. So you see the live scoring pylon on top, always updating the scores, but the Fantastics knock them off, knock it onto the 3. The Doorknobs, that did not help there. Fantastics now, they will get another one in. That's a big lead for them. Doorknobs really going to have to play cleanup here, and they do with 1 marble. They put one of their own in, but the Fantastic final marble just has to steer clear, and they do. That's a 3-1 Fantastics victory. Well done to the Fantastics. They will move on. Doorknobs coming off 2 back-to-back 4th place finishes will go out. Next up, 2 white teams, Swirly Pops and Morning Mealtime now. Swirly Pops having a very rough time this season. Morning Mealtime having a decent season. They both start with a 1. The Swirly Pops knock the Morning Mealtime off. Then looks like they'll spin out of the board. Yes, Swirly Pops now at the 1-0 lead. Morning Mealtime, ooh, that's just outside. Swirly Pops third marble nestles themselves in the corner, but does knock it off. As the Morning Mealtime again, they'll just plant it straight onto the Swirly Pops final marble. Clears out everything, or proceeds to settle in the 2-point ring. That's 2 little leads for the Swirly Pops and Morning Mealtime. The hammer cannot do it. Swirly Pops will take a much needed victory. That's the first top hat finish in a while for the Swirly Pops. Oh, they needed that. So we have the ballistic bottles and the flag attacks, although the order seems to be a bit wrong there. As you see, the first marble doesn't really turn out well for either flag attacks. The next marble just barely short of it. Ballistic bottles, ooh, they have one that's nearly onto the house, but it's just outside of it. Flag attacks, they punt one straight into the wall. That is quite a risk of the event. You could just halt your momentum immediately. If the ballistic bottles get a point there, but the flag attacks final marble, they knock it off. Only to go off kill the ballistic bottles. If they get on the house here, they win, and they don't. But they're still close to the bun, so despite no points being scored in the sheet, the ballistic bottles will take it. Veins of Valence in the Cow Crash. Now Cow Crashers need any result, really. Veins of Valence are in the mid-pack, hoping to go back up to where they once were. As the start very well, they got a 2-pointer there. Cow Crashers, they will put one out there. They're wiggling around, but they also get a 2-pointer. The third Veins of Valence member, they will get in the house as well. No, it won't be counted as the Cow Crashers knock it off immediately. And they will have another one in the ring. Yes, that's 2-3. But the Veins of Valence respond very well with the 1 in the 2, pushing the 1 in the 3. They got knocked off there, though. Who will win it? It is the Veins of Valence, as the other marble was not knocked off far enough. They still came back into the 1. That's a 4-3 Veins of Valence victory. The Cow Crashers still no top half. Now the Nemesis Neons and the Firefighters, the top 2 of the last event, the rematch of the finale here. Now the Nemesis Neons will put one onto that, looking for revenge here. The Firefighters, they knock it off. Firefighters trying to get back into the house, but it doesn't quite work. Nemesis Neons, they will get one in again. But the Firefighters, they used him very well. That was Brigade, the marble that already gave the Nemesis Neons such a nightmare. And now the Nemesis Neons have knocked themselves off. The Firefighters, their hammer contacts with their own teammate, but I think this marble will still settle in the house. And they will, so the Firefighters, a small scare there. But they'll take it. Firefighters really having a glow up in this past few events, it seems like. Tectonic Shifters and Turning Taxis for the 6th lead. These two teams always seem to be facing each other in this type of event. So the Turning Taxis, oh, they nearly look to be on the button right there. They'll back off, and they get a 1-pointer. Tectonic Shifters, they still have no point yet, as the Turning Taxis will miss one there. Tectonic Shifters, no, that's another one, Phil. They all line up on the right side. That's not really what you want. Turning Taxis, gonna throw a safe one there. Tectonic Shifters knock it off with the final marble. And they will settle in the ring, but the Turning Taxis are still closer. So they should have this one as long as they don't ruin it. And they'll actually add one to their tally. So the Turning Taxis will decisively win this one. They will advance. Turning Taxis always seem to be good in events like these. In general, they're very good in team events. The Chargers Summons will punch one straight into the wall. No movement there. Cranglab are facing them. These two teams also seem to face each other quite a lot. The charge themselves, the same thing happened there again, but the Crown Collab weren't able to capitalize off it with the first one, but they do with the second. That's a point for the Crown Collab as the charge themselves again. They just cannot bounce off the wall properly. Crown Collab will sit right next to them. Charge themselves the final chance, and they knock the other marble way off out of the house, and the other one's in the corner, so charge themselves absolutely impossible for them to work with anything here. Crown Collab, oh, that's not quite going to be on the house. But the charge themselves, the team in second place, is knocked out. That gives a huge opportunity to the team in first place, the Trident Hunters, to extend that lead even further. They're facing the Rail Blazers. The Rail Blazers start off with a point. Trident Hunters still blank, but they knock that Rail Blazer off. The Rail Blazers trying to get back on, and no, they won't. Now the Rail Blazers, they go way off. They bounce off that wall with way too much momentum. Trident Hunters' third marble, it doesn't go out too well for them. The Rail Blazers have a free house now to try and get points, and they do. That's 2 points for them. Trident Hunters, the final marble, has to salvage, and they can't do anything. The Rail Blazers with the hammer should just not ruin it, and they don't. Like, they leave nothing apart from the Trident Hunters. That is a 2-0 loss for them. Trident Hunters, no points conceded 2. That is pretty bad for them. In fact, that puts the Trident Hunters in last. The first bottom half finish of the whole season, and it's last. They're pretty lucky that the Charger Sellers couldn't really capitalize, as the lead will still be big. That is massive. You see some ties that they are broken by distance to the button as well. That's why Morning Milton are ahead of the Trident Hunters. Heading into the quarterfinals now. It's a big upset there. Fantastic and the Swirly Pops are going to go in the first one. 2 white teams going at it. So after the Swirly Pops face the other white team in the heats. And no points on the board yet after halfway through. That Fantastic might get it though. They'll settle on top of that Swirly Pop and they won't get it. It's the third moment of the Fantastic. They will miss. Still no one settled in the house. So the Swirly Pop come dangerously close. Come the Fantastic again. They will miss out. So the Swirly Pops, if they get one out of the house here, they will advance. And they don't. And the Fantastics will take it. That top marble is closer to the button. And the Fantastics are lucky to come out of that alive. But they're going to win. Ballistic Bottles and the Veins of Valiance going up now. There goes the first 2 marbles. No points being scored yet. The Ballistic Bottles, third marble, they do the same thing. Veins of Valiance trying to get in, but it doesn't quite work. Again, not really able to get in the house of these marbles. There's one by the Ballistic Bottles. Veins of Valiance, they will punt it right next to them, but can't quite knock it off there. They use the other Ballistic Bottle momentum, and now they'll go off entirely, and the Veins of Valiance should take this one. It's going to be another 0-0, but the Veins of Valiance are easily closer to the button. They're going to take the win with all 4 of them close to each other. And no points yet being scored in the quarterfinals. We'll see what the Firefighters and Turning Taxis can do. Firefighters will start off with one. Turning Taxis responds with another one. Yeah, that is going to be counted as in the house, but the Firefighters immediately knock it out. Let's see what's going to happen here. Turning Taxis, that one, that's not in. Firefighters still have the lead. Turning Taxis, they respond brilliantly there. But they just got out of the house. But the other one knocks them back in. That was a good strategy for the Turning Taxis, and they now take the lead. It's a tie, but the Turning Taxis are close to the button. The Firefighters cannot capitalize, so the Turning Taxis should take this. A small match there adds 2 more points. That is 3-1. A great job by the Turning Taxis, flipping it around. Turning Taxis will take another top 4 in this type of event. Crown Collab and Rail Blazers now. 2 teams that were unexpectedly in this quarterfinal. They both faced the top 2, but they both knocked them out. The Crown Collab seem to be taking the early leader, and they take 2, but the Rail Blazers knock it off immediately. But the Crown Collab are not deterred, however. They roll right back into the 2. But there's a bump there. That will not work out too well. That's still a 2-pointer there. Rail Blazers, they do combat it with one of their own now. Crown Collab final marble knocks them out, but it's still in it. This Rail Blazers marble needs to do something. It looks like they will. They knock the Crown Collab out. Rail Blazers with a come from behind. 1-3 again. Rail Blazers once again upset their opponent to win it. On to the semifinals. Fantastic and Veins of Valiance. We're going to fight for the medals here. The Veins of Valiance will settle one in. Fantastic looked like they were going to, but they're off now. As the Veins of Valiance, they're now tied. As the Veins of Valiance second marble, they knock off the Fantastics. Veins of Valiance take the lead back. Fantastics, they cannot quite do it there. Another bit of nudging, and that clears the entire house. Fantastics trying to get points with the last marble they have, and they will. That's 2. Can the Veins of Valiance respond properly? No, they will get 1, but it's not enough. Fantastics will move to the final. That's the top 2 finish, guaranteed their second medal of the season after that golden balancing. Turning Taxis and Trailblazers. Now, this match also happened in the last event. It was the Turning Taxis who came on top then. So both of them will miss their first marble. Turning Taxis' second marble nudges the Trailblazers, but not into the house. The Trailblazers, still no points yet being scored in this match. There's one for the Turning Taxis. How do the Trailblazers respond? They knock it off and put one of their own in. Trailblazers looking good here. Turning Taxis' final marble. That is in. That's 1-1. But the Trailblazers knock it off entirely. That should give the Trailblazers the win and a ticket to the finale, and it does, 1-0. So it's going to be a battle between two new teams for the gold. It's the Trailblazers. That is the first top two ever. Well done to them. E10 and Turning Taxis for the bronze medal. The two best teams in team events last season. But who will come out on top here? This looks like E10 they put it right outside. Turning Taxis used that E10 marble to get into the house. But that E10 marble also enters the house until the next marble clears all of them. So we're now back to 0 as the Turning Taxis miss one there. E10 final marble cannot do it. Turning Taxis, can they put this one on? They will. That 1 point is enough to give them the bronze medal. E10 will just miss out. Turning Taxis take a hard-fought bronze, but now on to the finale. Fantastics and Trailblazers. Fantastics' first marble goes way off. Trailblazers trying to capitalize, and it looks like they might do it, but they roll off to the right side. Not in the house. It's the Fantastics also not in the house. No points being scored yet. That's we're halfway done. Trailblazers also cannot do it. Their marbles are the only ones that are in the frame. The Fantastics. Third marble looks like that'll be it. But they settle in between there. The Trailblazers, they will get 2. As the Fantastics have 1 marble left, they have to make the best out of it, and they will. They're now tied. Fantastics are close to the button. Can these Trailblazers marble perhaps pull it from behind? They were close, but no. Close they were as they tie in the end. But the Fantastics, closer to the button, in a clash between two new teams, they win the gold. Their second goal of the season. And the Fantastics, what a hard-fought goal. A very hard-fought silver for the Trailblazers too. And they had a phenomenal run all event. Just barely stopped in the end by that last Fantastics marble. And the Turning Taxis will take third. So well done to all 3 of our podium finishers for the tremendous efforts today. Coming off a very long and exciting event, the Fantastics move all the way up to third as the lead has shrunk, but only to 27. Turning Taxis actually drops, while Valiants gain 4. The Swirling Paws are the only other team to move up in the standings. They move past the Time Shifters, but not much changing elsewhere. To try to understate, still a match lead despite the last place finish. See you for the next event. Aiming, thank you for watching.